Bitcoin has absolutely shattered to new all-time highs, the money is flowing in, and the gains are coming. However, what if I told you that altcoins are about to bust? Bigger, harder, stronger, and messier than you could ever imagine. Over the last couple of days, Bitcoin has absolutely accelerated, and as we saw late last week, and also today, Bitcoin absolutely shattered all-time highs, leaving 69,000 in the dust once and for all. However, there are four massive things that I want to take a look at in terms of altcoins that show us that things aren't yet big, but very extremely soon, things are about to get, I think, quite bigger than we could ever imagine. So if you understand that the gains in the altcoin market are coming hard and fast, hit that like, hit that subscribe, get signed up to BINGX below if you're interested in buying Bitcoin or altcoins. And without further ado, let's take a look at a few massive things. So we all know Ethereum is in the verge of a multi-week breakout out of this multi-year long ascending triangle. But I'm hoping most people do know the path to alt season, which I get a lot of comments, and I see a lot of other people get comments like this. Honestly, I see this question a lot. You know, why are altcoins not pumping? Well, if we look at the path to altcoin season, this has been tried and true for multiple cycles. And absolutely, I think this is going to be more relevant this cycle, considering that the money always flows into Bitcoin first. However, now we have Bitcoin ETFs. So we should be expecting even more money specifically to be flowing into Bitcoin, more than ever, right? Ever in history. I also want to make a case in the video that potentially we're about to see the strongest altcoin season that we've seen since the 2017 bust. And I want to explain why as well. But obviously you see Bitcoin, and then there's some overlap. After the money flows into Bitcoin, it's kind of overlapped between Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then it's Ethereum. And then after that, after the money flows into Ethereum, that money then flows into large caps. After, there's some overlap, but then it flows into large caps. And then ultimately it turns into a full-blown raging infestation of alt season. Okay, every piece of absolute garbage left and right on these charts is just exploding, popping off big time. And that usually marks the end of the cycle. However, I do want to highlight that we usually see a similar, it's not just one bull cycle is not phase 1 through 4 and it's it. Sometimes we see multiple phases, or we see it cycle through these phases multiple times in one cycle. For example, let's say, Bitcoin's getting all the inflows now, and then Ethereum, large caps, alt season, and then it can go back to then flowing all into Bitcoin, Ethereum, large caps, and then alt season again. So 2 full rotations of this within the same cycle. So that's really exciting. The first pumping of alts, though, I think is coming very soon. And I want to look at a few things. So looking at the entire cryptocurrency market chart, you might notice a few things. We look at the RSI. This line right here, as we enter into oversold, if I zoom out a little bit, as we enter into oversold on the RSI, overbought on the RSI. This has only happened a handful of times, and it correlates heavily to the beginning of massive pumping in the entire crypto market when we get into this overbought section. And just getting into overbought right now we're on a 1 month chart. Okay, 1 month. Just getting into overbought on the 1 month does not imminently mean that we're going to crash. In fact, the opposite. Usually the biggest gains actually start on the monthly chart once we get to overbought. So basically getting to this line right here basically begins the season of maximum pumping. And we saw that happen here when we first crossed into overbought back in April of 2016. We rallied, it's actually an insane amount. It was like a couple 100,000%. So that'll probably never be replicated ever again because the market was so small at that time. It just absolutely erupted. I mean, this is where trillionaires were made. Just kidding. Billionaires, but not trillionaires. Maybe someday. But and then the very next time we had that same signal, which was exactly 4 years later, back in November of 2020, the entire crypto market cap rose exponentially. It did not go up 200,000%, obviously, but it went up over 1,000%. And that's exactly when this RSI indicator crossed overbought. And now we're doing it again right now for the first time since 2020, November of 2020. We're about to do it right now. And let's say we get about 300% gains. Okay. It's not even it's absolutely smaller than any other amount. That would still put the entire altcoin or the entire market at about 4 trillion. So that's pretty small, right? Now I want to make a case in a couple minutes actually for why we might actually see a crazier alt season. And I don't really think I have to make a case on why I think we're going to see more Bitcoin inflows than ever. This is not a Bitcoin specific video, but I guess I can answer the question in the next 5 seconds. Bitcoin spot ETFs are why we may see more inflows to Bitcoin than ever in the history of Bitcoin. So then jumping to this chart, this is the 1 month chart as well with the entire altcoin market or the entire crypto market as well. Here we have this, where as soon as we've seen the BBWs, one of my favorite indicators, all fellow BBW lovers will understand what I mean. But as soon as we crossed this line and we really started expansion on this BBWs, this was also the beginning of massive gainers. And we are closer now than ever also to doing that, okay? It's getting very close. Basically, this to me just illustrates how early still the cycle is. And I actually have another chart I can pull out. I wasn't even going to pull out this chart, but I've talked about it before, but this is a total ASO chart, the ASO indicator. Here we are. This is the beginning of the bust, the bottom basically. And we have, in my opinion, at least another 12 months of massive expansion. This ASO indicator kind of just dictating, showing us in the past where these bull markets began and kind of ended, usually around the 70% mark of this box. That would put us, again, into middle of 2025. I personally think it could even be sooner than that, meaning we might tap out sooner than that. But another massive chart is simply just the MACD cross, where when we get this cross, it's where the entire market really starts to heat up. It happened back in 2016. It happened back in 2020. And now we've just gotten it for the first time on the monthly chart since 2020. And the last time before that was 2016. So things are absolutely heating up, and I think it's very clear. I think that we have so much room to move. Bitcoin has just hit a new all-time high, and very few, I think less than 1% of altcoins have hit all-time highs. Bitcoin has. And soon, these altcoins will start lifting off. Absolutely going banana mode. Just absolute banana mode. This chart's absolutely huge, and I want to talk about this as well. So Mustache on Twitter talks about this. USDT dominance recently broke through a trend line that had been intact for 6 years. So this is USDT dominance. I'm sure you're very aware of Bitcoin dominance charts. This is USDT dominance charts. MACD is showing very strong bearish momentum on the USDT dominance chart, and when the USDT dominance chart goes down, altcoins go up. Mustache saying biggest alt season since 2017 is loading, in his opinion. And I think this is a very strong technical data to show us that yes, for the past 6 years, this USDT dominance has not fallen below this trend line. And now we are. And if it holds true that when this starts collapsing, altcoins start busting busting massively, then there's no reason to think that altcoins will not bust massively. We have every reason to think that they most likely will. And honestly, as I said at the beginning of the video, it all starts here because this chart right here, path to alt season, Bitcoin is still running. And this is the one thing I think might be a little different than the past is that I think Bitcoin is going to continue to run for a while because of the continuous inflows of these Bitcoin ETFs. So maybe we'll have to adjust, and maybe Bitcoin will just pump a little bit longer in the background while some money flows into Ethereum, large caps, and then full-blown alt season, right? Maybe it won't be exactly the same, but ultimately the money, I think this will always be the case. I think the money will always have to start with Bitcoin, right? It always has, and I see no reason why it wouldn't, especially now with these ETFs that are Bitcoin-only ETFs. It's not like we have other ETFs of like Ethereum or something. Maybe in 2 months, at the end of May, I believe, maybe we'll get an Ethereum ETF, but I'm not even talking about that. We have one ETF, it's Bitcoin. That's where a lot of money is flowing, and a lot of the other money is going to flow into these other alts. Now, another thing I want to talk about is Cardano. Absolutely, it's another one of these top coins. I mean, this is up 8% today. Ethereum's up about 4% today. AVAX is up 16% today. Another good chart to look at is AVAX. Very interesting. A lot of these top alts are doing very well. And I think, for example, looking at Cardano, this is a pattern you see in a lot of these alts. It was just straight death, right? Just down, down, down for the past 2 years. But look what's happened since October of 2023 when Bitcoin really started pumping as well. top alts like Cardano. Ethereum, absolutely. Ethereum was a little more delayed, honestly. Ethereum's now getting very powerful, in my opinion. But a lot of these top alts, a lot of alts are starting to have the same pattern. And the way this pattern ends, at least historically, is something like that. These are the previous all-time highs. And a lot of these coins, not all of them, absolutely, I do not think all of them are going to hit all-time highs, but absolutely, I think Ethereum's going to hit all-time highs and beyond. I think Cardano is going to. I think Solana is going to. I think Chainlink is going to. At least I hope. I mean, Chainlink probably deserves to more than most other coins. I think Polygon is going to. I think that Avalanche, all of the coins that I hold as well. In fact, I made an altcoin video about 2 months ago, and again, all of the coins I talked about in that video, they are all up from that video. Am I a genius? No. It's just that during these cycles, really not everything, but most things will pump. It's just a matter of pretty much picking the strongest pumpy ones, right? Picking the ones that will pump the most. And get signed up to FeeMix below if you want to buy Bitcoin or altcoins. And as well, stake with our Cardano pool. If you want to earn free rewards, you keep it in your wallet, and there's basically no reason not to. The ticker for our pool is TSC. But without any further ado, that's it for me.